Welcome to our Wellness Wednesday Health Show. I'm your host, Dr. Kala Hewlett from the Back Pain and Sciatica Center of Texas, where we offer regenerative pain solutions. And as you can see, we are on site today with a very special guest, Dr. Bonnie Hubert of One Way Life. Bonnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for being out here with me on my property and my home.
I think this is really, really cool. So let's start with that. What is One Way Life? And then we'll talk about this too.
Absolutely. One Way Life Coaching is my business, and I am a life coach. So what is a life coach? Do you know anything about life coaching, Dr. Hewlett?
So I do know some about life coaching. Through the past probably 15 years, I've worked with multiple life coaches, consultants of various levels. So something that I think is of the utmost importance. That's why when Sherry connected with you, I'm like, absolutely, because it's one of the things that for my wife and I, we've utilized throughout our whole, I don't say our whole marriage, but probably after the first couple of years, for the bulk of our marriage and life, we've utilized coaches.
So everyone in the world, I think, needs a coach, whether it's our kids doing coaching, needing coaching for their athletic ventures, or business, people that own businesses, having a business coach. It's really just kind of an accountability partner. And I think what sets me apart from other life coaches is that we kind of start at a foundational level of self-awareness. And that's a big thing with any beginning, is being self-aware. And in my coaching business, I actually start with a self-appraisal and a profile where a person just kind of gets to know where they are with various theaters of their life. And something that's interesting, and I don't know if other coaches do it, but one thing that's unique about One Way is that we actually offer second party profilers. So when you do a profile of yourself, you have the opportunity to also give that exact same profile to two other people that you choose. So you get their perspective of the same things that you're kind of assessing in yourself, which really brings the mirror like this
Super close.
Yeah,
Super
and
close.
it gives you an opportunity to really say, where am I and where do I want to go, and what are the things that I need to do in my life to get me there?
Okay.
Yeah.
You said something a few minutes ago about like we all need a coach in sports. And I remember when my kids were younger, I coached all of their sports. Let me qualify that, at the YMCA.
All right.
So I was like the perfect soccer coach when the kids are this tall. Basketball, volleyball, baseball, right?
Yeah.
I never played any of those professionally or in college, right?
Yeah.
But I knew in some of the sports I never played, like volleyball, but I knew enough to be able to get them at the YMCA. But they surpassed my knowledge and skills pretty quickly, and then we started hiring other coaches or having them work with other teams. Now, also, we talked a little bit about this, qualifications. I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Bonnie. So someone may be thinking, all right, well, what qualifies this woman to be a life coach?
That's a great question. I think there's a lot of amazing life coaches out there that have experience and credentials. What I think sets me apart is my background in counseling and therapy. I've been a licensed professional counselor, a school counselor, a crisis intervention counselor, and really a coach to all of the clients that I served in those areas. And so the credentialing is really important. I think there are some out there.
Now I'm gonna interrupt you because you're not saying everything.
Oh.
She's being very humble right now, right? So it's not just what you've done professionally in your life. She's a mother. She has 4 kids.
I do.
I know 2 of her boys personally, which they're amazingly awesome. All right. So you have a husband, right?
I do.
You have this amazing house that you've just built. So this isn't just something that you've taught other people how to do. This is something that you've lived.
Absolutely.
Right? And as we say in Texas, it ain't bragging if it's true. So
all right.
So you can do it. You're a CASA. Now, in the past, you've been a CASA advocate.
I have been a CASA advocate, yes.
In the past, you were also Mrs. Texas, 2009.
Oh my, you did your homework.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
And that was 2009. So that means you had 4 kids then.
I did.
So
I had 4
Mrs.
kids.
Texas with 4 kids. You were working then, all right? And from knowing your family, and I've known Bonnie's family off and on over the years for probably the last 10 or 12 years, it didn't seem like any areas of your life suffered, right?
Well,
maybe they're like a lot of families, but you were still able to
Yes.
maintain a personal relationship, professional relationship, and do all those things.
yes, and I think that's a really good observation. At least I was successful in making it look like
Yeah.
everything was balanced, and truthfully, life isn't that way. But I can tell you that I was very resourceful. So there were things in life when you're focusing on something, any goal, that you reach out for a resource, for support, to do something that maybe you don't have time for, or that you are lacking in that area. And I'm really great at that. And I teach people how to do that, to keep balance, and to
So we are on. No. So actually, and part of this is great because this is part of her journey. Like I said, Bonnie practices what she preached. This is her life for the past 20 plus years, and we're actually on site at her new house that they're building. And so in the background, you can hear an air compressor. So give it just a moment. We're going to get him to cut off the air compressor. But this is part of your journey
Well, yeah,
too.
I'll just talk about
Yeah.
this right now. I'm thinking about talking and having this interview today, and I was thinking about 2021, which a lot of people are thinking about right now because we're ending the year. And I'm thinking about like vision, just vision for what can be, because so many people have suffered unspeakable things this year. And I thought about this home sort of as the what can be when you have vision. This home and this vision started back in 2007, so it's been a long time in the making. We used to drive by this property and sit out there on the road in our car and picture ourselves here before it was ever ours, and thinking in my head that I don't know how this could ever be, but knowing that I wanted to turn every single rock over with my husband and I, and just find a way to make it happen. And we didn't do it alone. There were many outside forces and things, but the point is we had the vision and we acted on that vision. And once we got the property that long ago, it believe me, it didn't look like this. It was a cute little farmhouse, but it was built in the 1980s. And we lived here for over 10 years, and we kept dreaming and having our vision of what we wanted eventually to build on this property. And now, I mean, I can't hardly believe that I'm sitting here on the porch with the air compressor going, and it's happening. And so vision is huge for success and the things you want in life.
And you said 2007?
2007.
We're in 2020, so 13 years, right? So for those of you watching,
Yeah.
sometimes these things, it's not like I'm going to visualize it and then tomorrow it's going to happen. It's a journey. It's a process. And just because, Dr. Bonnie's a successful woman that we're here interviewing, right now, she's sleeping in an RV, right, with her husband and 2 high school boys. So even along the way, there's still sacrifices.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's not all like, hey, we're awesome and we're smooth sailing, and so there's still sacrifices and little challenges in the journey.
Absolutely. And what keeps me going is the vision. And I think as we go into the new year, I think that's so important, if you're watching, to be looking ahead and not just making a New Year's resolution, but actually saying what it is that you want as if it already happened. So I am sitting out there in my car looking at this property saying, I am living here, and I can see my kids here playing, and I've got cows in the back and a horse, and I can see that. And that's how vision begins, is to be able to say it as if it's already happened. And then establish the why. Why do I want this? And really that's your motivation that carries you through when you're actually doing the how, which is the way to make it happen. And that's really how I coach people too. We call that an organization and ownership loop, where it's the what, the why, and the way, really fleshing it out, and it all begins with vision.
So important. I remember years back, one of the early coaches and consultants that I worked with, he'd say the number one disease that humanity suffers from is in the 6 inches between our ears. And that's what you're talking about. The vision starts here. I find so many people, we have leaves that are on the ground, right? It's winter here, and so many people lead their life like a leaf that's just blown in the wind, right? So almost a victim of circumstance, not really having a vision of where they want to go. As a result, it's whatever the economy or their spouse or their children, they're just blown, right? But what you're saying is living life with intent, having a vision of what you want, and then why do you want it, and then make it happen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's the process? Someone's watching this and they're like, hey, I know there's things in life that I want, and perhaps kind of like the YMCA example I use, like my kids, I'd say I was awesome at what I knew, but when they surpassed, or when their needs surpassed my skill set, I had to seek coaching elsewhere. So now they're taught by other coaches and so forth, and clubs and private teachers. And we do the same thing, we homeschool our kids. So it got to the point where I said, hey, I know this much math, but we need to hire someone else to teach them this level math. So most of us, I found, and Bonnie, you can speak to this as well, most adults, we are a product of our environment. So perhaps what we saw with our mothers, fathers, preachers, teachers. And so our level of vision and what we think is possible in life kind of goes here. We all have a lid, and it's based on past experiences. And if my kids only knew the level of math or the level of volleyball that my wife and I could teach them, they'd be down here, right? But we sought out other people, resources, to be able to take them to a higher level. And that's almost what a coach does, right? It helps go to a higher level.
Absolutely. So it takes you where you are with the self-awareness, right? And then the framework is really established by the person that I'm working with. You know, what are their goals, which always comes out in the self-appraisal and the profile. What are your goals, and how do you want to get there? And that's what a coach is for. And you know, it's interesting to say, it's not just about talking, where like when I was a counselor or a therapist, we would talk a lot. And of course I would maybe give them a client something to do, but there are workouts involved with coaching. So just like a coach for any sport, like you're talking about, you know, soccer or baseball or football, gives the athletes the workout, a coach does the same thing. And if you're on board, then you are invested in that, and you're working out super hard to try to do the things that you that are going to lead you to accomplish your goals. And so that is what coaching is all about, right? Here's you've identified what it is, but now here's the workout that's going to take you there.
And I love that. As humans, I found a lot of people are stubborn, and they're like, they try to do it themselves, right? When we're kids, we're willing to ask for help, but something happens somewhere in the teenage years where so many adults go through life and they're frustrated, and they look at other people and they say the words, it must be nice. And personally, I just can't stand those words, because what we assume is that everything was given to that individual, and they don't realize all the hard work and the vision and the sacrifices that person made. They just see the end result. And so if you ever find yourself saying, that must be nice, I wish I could have that, that means you need a coach, because like you want something but you don't know how to get it.
Well, and I think optimism, there's a phrase that bothers me, like that one bothers you, is I don't know. When I ask a question and it's I don't know, and I'll say, well, think about it for just a second, or maybe that's a workout later. You can't not know, right? You have to be able to answer some kind of reason in your mind for what the question is, instead of saying, I don't know. And so in order to kind of have the courage to answer, there has to be kind of this wall that you let down. It's, you know, of I need to know everything, I need to do everything myself. And it has to kind of, the optimism has to flood in, to be able to think that I actually can do and have incredible, extraordinary things come into my life. And when you believe that and then you start acting on it, it absolutely will happen.
Love it. So what's the process? So someone's watching this and they realize, hey, there's things in life that I want to be able to achieve, but I'm stuck, and they need a coach. They reach out to you. So what's a step 1, 2, 3, 4 process?
I would love that. So I have, my website is www.wedevelopu optimism.com/Hubert, and you can go there and look at all the programs that I have to offer, and there's a contact, get in touch button that's there. And the process is we chat, we set up kind of an initial consultation where I explain everything and how it works, and if a person signs up, we hit it, we roll. And I'm so excited about the clients that I have now. And I actually don't mention this, but I really just officially launched my business back in November. I've been doing this, like I said, in a different arena for a long time, but my One Way Life business just launched back in November. So I'm rolling it out in 2021, and I'd love to have and work with motivated clients. Yeah.
So what's like your ideal client? Someone's watching this, how do they, like, what level of someone are you looking to work with?
Well, I definitely am looking for someone who is motivated and invested, 100% committed to whatever they want to accomplish. And when that's there, it is just sky's the limit. So typically my ideal client is a woman, someone between 20, and I actually have a client right now who is 73 years old, who she is doing amazing things, working together, and I just love her enthusiasm and she is so excited about life again. So I can't really put an age limit on there, but I think a lot of coaches, they have their own niche and their experiences in life and who they work with, and I think probably women is a great, just because I'm a woman, or something like that. It just makes sense.
You can relate to that.
Yes,
Perfect.
I can, and of course, in raising children or like letting children. I have a senior right now that's going off to college next year. This is my third one to leave the nest, and so sometimes just when women are going through a transition period and they're not really sure where to go from what they're leaving, the stage they're leaving behind. It seems like those are the clients that I have right now. But I also am working with a businesswoman right now, and she has some big goals for her business. And so the things that we do are allowing her to understand and focus on what she needs to so that her business can grow. And so that's just kind of the ideal client for me.
Okay, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Every successful person that I've met in life, no matter if it's a sports person, a business person, a mother, whatever their role in life is, I've found a common thread is they all have a coach that they work with.
Really?
They all
Wow,
have
I did
a
not
coach
know
that they work
that.
with.
I
And it's
love
really
it.
cool. And even I remember I was watching an interview from Russell Wilson, the quarterback for the Seahawks. And he actually has a personal coach he works with. Not a quarterback coach, he has all those,
Yeah.
but one just to work on what's happening up here. Because he's like, I know to be successful and to lead a team as a quarterback, I needed help what's going on here. So he has a coach that he works with. And again, even in my personal, professional life, like, it's a common thread. If you're watching this and you had kids, have kids, whether they're younger and still at home or older, if you've ever hired a tutor, if you've sent them to school to learn something that you couldn't teach them, whether it was public school, private school, if you've invested in lessons for them, whether it's piano lessons, any instrument, coaching on any level for any sports, like, think about that. It's not just for children. Coaching is really to be utilized throughout your whole life, is to help you continually progress and grow. So that's why I'm super excited for your business and to interview today. Any last comments or thoughts for our audience today?
Well, yeah, just to touch on what you just said, that's actually how I found One Way Life Coaching, is because I hired a life coach, and Mike Riggs is the founder of One Way Life, and my life coaching model is the model he created about 25 years ago, working with professional athletes, just like you're saying. So he has a master's in sports psychology, and he worked with professional athletes, mainly in golf and basketball. But he was the mental coach that you were just describing for the athletes that you're thinking of. And so One Way Life is not just something that actually is just something I created. I bring my expertise and knowledge and style to it, but it's actually a model created by someone who's worked with professional athletes for a long time. And I guess just finishing off by saying thank you for having me and for bringing light to the field of life coaching and what it can do for people in their lives.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bonnie, thank you for
Absolutely.
allowing us to come to your home today, and we wish you the best. We're going to put all the links in the email on the Facebook post, so that way they can just click and connect with you. Anyways, we wish you guys the absolute best. We wish you a very happy and prosperous 2021. And as you work on creating that vision, if you need help, connect with Bonnie. See y'all next week.